Everybody chasing Connor Daly in the number 22 green and white index car for Hunter-Reay Racing. He has won 3 times already this season, and he has been on the pole 3 times as well. He finished 3rd at Sebring, was one at St. Pete, at Mazda Laguna Seca Raceway, and then also here now at Iowa Speedway. And he was very strong, obviously at O'Reilly Raceway Park as well. So he's been very strong all season long. Ovals were new to him at O'Reilly Raceway Park, as they were to several of these drivers. But they raced at Iowa last year, and Connor Daly is one of those that has experience here from Iowa Speedway. There are 5 different drivers that raced here last year. Now, I apologize, Connor Daly was not one of those 5 that raced here, but David Estella, Rusty Mitchell, Anders Krohn, Kyle Laura, and George Goncalves all raced here at Iowa Speedway last year.
Well, we had hazy sunshine for the F2000 race, but it's turned out to be a beautiful night here at Iowa Speedway. Let's get a condition report from Jake Query on pit road.
Mark, thanks so much, and you are right. It could not be a prettier night out here, as earlier there was some hazy overcast here at the Iowa Speedway just a couple of hours ago, but that kind of has rolled off, and now we have the sun overhead. 78 degrees is the ambient temperature. The track temperature, which at one time got as high as 116 degrees, is now at 97 degrees. So a beautiful evening we're getting set for here in Newton, Iowa, just about 40 miles to the east of Des Moines, Iowa. It could not be a better night. Good crowd on hand here at the Iowa Speedway. Should be a good race.
Cars are just about to be released from pit lane. We'll go green 3rd time by. Connor Daly is the pole sitter. He has indeed raced here. He was the runner-up here last year after starting in the 8th position. He's on the inside of road number 1, the 18 car of Joao Horto. Joao Victor Horto is starting in the 2nd position. He finished 2nd at St. Pete, 3rd at O'Reilly Raceway Park, driving for Team Apex. Anderson Racing takes up road number 2. Car number 17 with Mikhail Grenier, 3rd in points, finished 2nd at O'Reilly Raceway Park. He starts on the inside, and on the outside his teammate Anders Krohn. He was 2nd in the championship, finished 6th here at Iowa 2000. George Goncalves finished 21st here last year. He's going to use that experience hopefully to his advantage, starting on the inside of road number 3 with Team Apex. And then JTC Motorsports, Chris Miller, the 85 car, 21-year-old from Minnesota, starts on the outside of road number 3. 17-year-old Connor Daly starts on the inside of road number 4. He is 4th in the championship, and then Anderson Racing's Tristan Vautier, who won at Sebring and is 5th in the championship. He will start on the outside of 4. Inside of 5 is Kyle Laura. He was 9th here a year ago with JTC Motorsport. And then AIM Autosports' David Estella, we mentioned, did race here last year, finished 3rd. He will start on the outside of road number 5. Inside of road number 6 is Rusty Mitchell, who was 4th here in 2009. He is from Midland, Texas. On the outside is Nick Andrews. He finished 19th at St. Pete, just recently named to the rest of the season driver Anderson Racing. And then starting in the 13th position, the young lady who was 17 years old, Tatiana Calderon, for Hunter-Reay Racing, Connor Daly's teammate. On the outside is J.W. Roberts in the 65 car, and rounding out the field, qualifying 15th earlier today, 17-year-old Carlos.
Well, as we mentioned, the Firestone Indy Lights event will be contested here tonight on this 3/4 mile course at Iowa Speedway. 7/8 of a mile, I should say. Front straightaway 1,075 feet, 869 feet along the back straightaway. The turns are banked, varied degree banking from 12 to 14, 60 feet wide all the way around. It seems 40,000 change. It opened in 2006. And we are just about ready to go. Next time by, we hope to get the green flag and get the Pizza Ranch 100 underway here at Iowa Speedway. Connor Daly, the last time we were with you at O'Reilly Raceway Park on the night before the 500, had the field covered and then some, landing all the way through 5th place en route to a dominating victory.
Well, they are not lined up at this point, and the furled flag was not shown that time by. The front of the field was lined up, but the back of the field was a little bit strung out. So I think we're going to go around one more time before we see the green flag. Connor Daly will be on the inside. They will continue to wave that flag and not yet show the furled flag. This is the wave lap here. Nice crowd on hand. This is a really good crowd. And it makes sense because this is an excellent day of racing. All the activity we have been wall to wall pretty much since 9 o'clock this morning gates open at 1 o'clock today. You've had a lot of activity. Both of the Indy Racing League series are fun. We've got a pair of road to Indy events. The field has started to build up here. So we'll bring the next time.
So badly to get 11 rows of 3 tightly bunched off of turn 4 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Did not see that happen. I noticed in the USF 2000 race they were pretty tightly bunched up and had a great formation coming off of turn number 4. And clearly that's what the stage has been set for here in this Star Mazda event. I mean, they are nose to tail in rows of 2. And they are neatly bunched up as they'll start to look for the green flag now as they exit turn number 4 with Connor Daly on pole.
Connor Daly gets the jump, and the inside line has a big jump, and Michael Grenier will follow right behind him. So Grenier will move into second position. They will go 2 wide, 2 by 2 throughout turns number 1 and 2. And so far, so good. Connor Daly has to jump by about 2 car lengths over Michael Grenier. And now I think Victor Horto is going to get a run down the inside. So the battle is for second place as they go around turn number 4, getting set to complete lap number 1.
Couple of cars with the wiggle, the 17 machine and the 18 machine. That's Grenier and Horto rub nose to tail. They'll settle in second and third. Pretty nice battle for 4th and 5th between Goncalves and Anders Krohn as they start to set up for turn number 3 already.
Nearly 3 wide for a moment, going back for 5th and 6th position in the pack. Connor Daly is out by about 6 car lengths now. Michael Grenier has grabbed the second position. And running in third is Joel Victor Horto. In the 4th position is Goncalves.
Krohn really lost a lot of momentum that last lap. He dropped a couple of spots and has fallen back to 6th. He was running in the 4th position, but lost a couple in the setup of turn number 3. And Connor Daly starts to stretch it out a bit over Grenier as they enter turn 1.
Back in the pack, we have seen some good racing between Vautier and Estella. Both have some experience, and Vautier is going to hang on to that 8th position right now. He and David Estella ran side by side for nearly a lap.
Estella, Mitchell, Lara all running pretty close. Andrews is trying to pull up on Lara as they enter turn number 4. That's the battle between the 19 car and the 81 machine. That one works its way toward the start-finish line as we speak. The 66 machine of Mitchell runs just in front of them. Connor Daly works turn number 3. Grenier trying to pull up on him. Certainly closed the gap just a little bit, although Grenier has a little bit of company in the form of Horto as they exit turn 4.
Completing lap number 5 of 100. This is a 100 lap or 45-minute event. Whichever comes first will easily get 100 in. Connor Daly already up by a second now. Michael Grenier, Joao Victor Horto running 3rd. George Goncalves is in 4th, and Connor De Filippi is in 5th, and it's Krohn, Miller, Vautier, Estella, and Mitchell running up the top 10. Lara, Andries, Calderon, Ramirez, and Roberts rounding out the field of 15 here in the Star Mazda Championship presented by Goodyear. This is the Pizza Ranch 100 at Iowa Speedway.
Scheduled for 45 minutes of this race. Of course, it'll set the stage for the Firestone Indy Lights Series. It's the nightcap, if you will, the A Main, the Firestone Indy Lights Series with the opportunity to be the A Main here at Iowa Speedway. Iowa Sport Indy 250 here at Iowa Speedway tomorrow on Father's Day.
Connor Daly continues to control this event just as he did at O'Reilly Raceway Park. He completes lap number 8, and his advantage is up to 1.4 seconds on Michael Grenier.
As we mentioned, David Ostella among those who had competed here before. Finished 3rd. Rusty Mitchell qualified 6th and finished 4th. Anders Krohn qualified 9th and finished 6th a year ago. Kyle Lara qualified 17th and finished 9th. George Goncalves started 14th and finished 21st, but last year they shared the stage with the Arthur Remix Series. The first time that they've shared a venue with the IndyCar Series and Firestone Indy Lights, but Dan Anderson, who is the CEO of the series, the USF 2000 and Star Mazda. We were talking with him as he joined us for the USF 2000 webcast earlier today on IndyCar.com. That he expects to be able to run with the Firestone Indy Lights and the Eyes on IndyCar Series as much as possible next year. He has 4 cars in the event tonight. So he's involved with car ownership for Star Mazda and is the owner of the USF 2000
2 seconds. Mikhail Grenier running second. Joao Victor Horto is in third. Calvez and Ray Filippi round out the top 5. Connor Daly is looking for his 4th consecutive win. It hasn't been before in Star Mazda, but he is getting in very select company being able to do that if he can get it done here in this one this evening.
Let's go to pit road, Jake Ware.
There are always interested spectators when you talk about series like this where drivers are trying to work their way up through the ladder, and Sam Schmidt sitting and watching at Sam Schmidt Motorsports, who of course has become the elite owner, if you will, for the Firestone Indy Lights. And Sam, as you watch, and we now have this partnership for the road to Indy with the USF 2000 and now the Star Mazda Series. As an owner, when you sit and watch a race like this, what kind of things are you looking for?
Well, really no different than Indy Lights or any series. Driver at this level set the car up for the long run, manage their tires, keep the balance throughout the race of the car, make sure that nothing goes away, and above all else, just don't make any mistakes, because mistakes are magnified in the world. It hurts a lot more and costs a lot more money.
Lastly, let's talk about Connor Daly, who has been very impressive. We saw him again with a very good start here. What are your impressions of this young man?
He obviously has done his homework. Watched him now on 3 or 4 different occasions, and works very hard. And just took off from the beginning there. It's going to make a big difference to be in clean air for 100 laps tonight. I think he's off to a good start.
All right, Sam Schmidt, we look forward to talking to you during the Firestone Indy Lights race, and good luck with that one as well. Sam Schmidt of Sam Schmidt Motorsports, guys, a very interested spectator watching this race here at Iowa Speedway.
Tatiana Calderon driving along in the 25 machine has really caused some issues for some of the faster cars. Her teammates Connor Daly passed her about 3 laps ago, but Kevin, some of those cars in safe positions 6 through 10 could really have some difficulties trying to work their way around her, especially when they catch her in the corner.
There are 3 that are pretty well off the pace. Daly, by about lap 12, had already lapped 3 different cars. Linares, Calderon, and Roberts are not still on the lead lap. Connor Daly's working on lap number 22 of 100 here at Iowa Speedway. We pick him up now, and he's going to catch traffic again very shortly. He is coming around turn 3, around turn number 4, and he's got 3 cars that are going to be in range, and they just about look like they are standing still. That next car that he's coming up on is Tatiana Calderon, who is going to go 2 laps down here in just a moment, along with others. We've got a car heading down pit road. David Estella, one of the contenders with experience here, finished 3rd a year ago. He's having difficulty so far tonight.
Now they're looking at the right front, and it appears as though he may have had a tire going flat, because that's where they are affecting the change. They'll use the quick jack and get the front of the car up, and they're going to check the suspension on the left front after they've affected the change on the right front. Suspension there. Make sure the wing assembly is in good shape, and he's back underway just like that. So an unscheduled stop, obviously, as all stops are in this series. The 16 machine, the red and white car, David Estella, makes his way back onto the course.
The advantage for Connor Daly is not growing. He's not running away with this race. That said, he still has a very comfortable advantage, but Mikhail Grenier is still within 2 seconds. Another 4/10 back is George Goncalves. Jairo Victor Horto is running in 4th. He's 3.3 seconds back. Connor De Filippi is 6 seconds back. Right behind him is Anders Krohn. Chris Miller also within 5 seconds. Tristan Vautier is running in the 8th position. And Rick Andrews is in 9th. Rounding out the top 10 is Kyle Lara.
Connor Daly has led from the exit of turn number 4 when the green flag flew, completing lap number 26 to 17 to game. Goncalves is in 3rd, Porto is 4th, De Filippi is 5th, then Anders Krohn, Miller, Andrews, Vautier, and Lara round out your top 10 as they're set to complete lap number 27 just like that.
A stop and go penalty in the pits. Let's check in with Jake Query.
Kevin, by the way, there was a drive-through penalty assessed to David Estella, and it was not one that was well received, as you can imagine here in the AIM Autosport team. The reason for the penalty, when he came in to have he had the problem that Mark James talked about with tire pressure. They had to change a tire. When he was exiting pit road, he was assessed a penalty for speeding on pit road, so he immediately had to come through for a drive-through penalty. So a costly mistake for David Estella.
Rules are rules, aren't they, Tim? No matter how far that, he dropped back in the field and he lost a lap essentially with that pit stop, if not almost 2 full laps. But now he finds himself, 4 laps?
4+ laps off, running in 15th and last position. Connor Daly is working on lap number 30, and now he's starting to stretch out that lead a little bit. Michael Grenier is 2.7 seconds back, another 2/10 back to George Goncalves. Connor Daly looking around the 4 now he's dealing with a little bit of traffic as he works his way around turn number 4. He's going to hook up behind David Estella, right on his rear wing. They're side by side for just a moment. Remember, Estella has a pretty good class this evening, and Daly is going to clear him not quite as quickly as he's cleared some of the other lap traffic.
Stella's going to try to tuck in behind him and as they go 3 wide down the main straightaway. And again, they're working around that 25 car. Tatiana is well off the pace, but now Daly starts to pull away a bit as he washes to the high side of the exit of turn number 2 and makes his way down the back straightaway to set up for turn 3.
They have different paces, and that's part of the experience here. It's not only about results, but it's also being able to pass quick cars. You have to be able to deal with slower cars too, because that's always going to be a factor. You have to know how to pass, and you also have to know how to be passed, because there are going to be nights when the race car will not just work to your liking, and you have to be able to continue to compete, but stay out of people's way and bring the car home in one piece.
Connor Daly is making a bit of a laugher out of it. Grenier, Goncalves, and Horto are in a pretty nice battle for second place. We'll check back in with that after we join Jake Query on pit road.
The situation with David Estella when he came in originally was simply a blistered tire. Talk about bad luck. It was the right front tire. Goodyear has taken a look at it and determined that it was not punctured. It's strictly blistered under the heat here. And so he came in, had to get a new tire, went out, and that's when the penalty was assessed because he was too quick leaving pit road.
Horto caught up with Calderon in an inopportune spot, was able to get his car to the high side, work his way around. That battle for second has broken off a little bit with Goncalves gaining command of it. Then it's the 17 machine of Grenier, then it's the 18 machine of Horto as they work their way down the straightaway. Now flip-flop out of that straightaway. Grenier goes to 4th. De Filippi has a flip-flop.
Grenier is dropped from 2nd to 4th. He and Horto went side by side from turn number 3, and that's where Horto got the advantage. So things have changed a little bit up, and nothing has changed up at the front. More than a 3-second advantage for Connor Daly, but now George Goncalves is the one chasing him. So let's see if he has anything. An 18-year-old from Venezuela with Team Apex is now on the march trying to catch up with Connor Daly.
Vautier has made a stop on pit road in the 38 machine. That's Tristan Vautier, one of the cars out of the Anderson Racing stable. He finished 6th at ORP, currently 5th in points. He's in for a brief stop. Looked like maybe a tire.
We can see the speed gun as they come down pit road, and this is a long pit road to maintain your position as Vautier now hits the cones, and he can work back up to speed, but he is going to lose laps in that process. So the 7 weeks of a mile track, anytime on pit road is going to cost you.
Daly continues to set the blistering pace with 38 laps complete here at Iowa Speedway. He is in command. He leads by almost 3 seconds over Chavez. Horto is third. Grenier is fourth. DeFilippi is fifth. Then Anders Krohn, Miller, Andries, Lara, and Mitchell, your top 10. All of those cars up through 9th position from the
second straight oval, the second of 2 ovals this season. It's race 5 of 13. He averaged about 120 miles an hour on the .686 mile oval at O'Reilly Raceway Park. And we're probably talking about 140 is the speed here. The pole speed is more than 140.
Rusty Mitchell makes his way on the pit road, and they immediately start checking the tire pressures on all 4 sides of that machine, Jake Query.
Because the issues with each driver that comes in right now, and as you talked about, this is not a race where they're intending to make pit stops, but it's the right side rubber, the Goodyear tires, where some of these teams are having a problem with those tires wearing down. We saw with Audier, and they may bring him back in. They're still looking to perhaps repair the right front tire, and as well, we saw it, of course, earlier on, we've seen some tire blistering. So Goodyear took a look at it and determined that there wasn't puncturing going on. The tires were just blistering under the heat here. So we'll see who else may have to come in. That could be the one thing that could play a factor for Connor Daly, as he obviously has a sizable lead. As Rusty Mitchell leaves pit road, he had the rubber change. But again, Connor Daly, that's the one thing, is we'll see whether or not those tires hold up for Connor Daly.
Now the 17 machine is making its way on the pit road. So the 17 machine with some issues coming on the pit road, and it comes to a stop. That's Grenier. Jake Query, another Anderson Racing machine on pit road, and it looks like they're looking at that right front.
That is indeed the case. The right front now has been changed as Grenier sits and waits. Anderson Racing. Slow Cow, of course, the organization is the sponsor on the side pod. They want a fast car. They had it with a fast stop. They just had to change that right front tire. He's back out of the court.
Again, the radar gun checking the pit road speed, taking a long look at him as he was in a hurry to get out of his pit box, and he'll stay with him until he gets to the cones, and now he'll work and blend back in and try to get back up to speed. He drops off to the 9th position and will lose a couple of laps after making a pit stop. 45 laps complete by Connor Daly with a lead of 3.5 seconds, 4.7 seconds over the third place car on Horto. Chavez, by the way, currently second. DeFilippi is fourth, and Anders Krohn has a pretty solid grasp on pit one.
Well, as much as Connor Daly looks in control, the way this tire wear is going, it may not be done at this point. It may have something to do with how you handle the tires, and maybe this is one of those events where you're not supposed to take one. It's possible that everybody's going to need to take one, and then it would come down to how quick you can service that car. The Anderson team did it very quickly on that stop, changing one tire. We see another car coming down pit road here to make a stop, and that's near the entrance. Chris Miller near the entrance of pit lane. Chris Miller was running inside the top 10, but he's going to lose more time.
We're looking at the rear of his car. He was the 2009 Formula 2000 champion from Minnesota, JDC Motorsports. Miller Milling and Redline Oil, all part of the sponsorship. And again, they continue to work around the board.
Connor Daly nearing the midpoint, just completed lap number 48 through the short, just completed. Chavez now 2.4 seconds back, another second back to Joao Victor Horto. Connor DeFilippi is 8 seconds back. He's in 4th position. That's the best battle on the racetrack right now. But DeFilippi and Anders Krohn running 4th and 5th, separated by not much space.
With a fast car running a couple of laps down, really had to lift to get through the traffic. Once he cleared the traffic, climbed back into the throttle, already making his way through turn number 3. And again, the car of Tatiana Calderon continues to cause problems with the pace that she was running. Cars continue to stack up behind her, including the lead machine of Connor Daly. He really had to take the basic moves to get to the high side to get by Harris and also Calderon in turn number 4.
They were spotting the car going on the low side, but it wasn't all that quick. And another quicker car going on the high side. We got 3 or 4 different speeds of cars going in this race.
Yeah, she's well off the pace. There's no doubt about that. Most of the time she's able to run by herself. Then all of a sudden, a pack of cars
number 2, we have smoke and a car in the wall. Car in the wall in turn number 2, and is that Grenier? The rear wing
like the
is
17
askew.
machine.
By the way, we've already had 5 cars that have had to make pit stops for tire changes, and now everyone's going to get a chance to assess where they're at, and this is going to allow everybody to take a shot at Connor Daly and erase his 3-second leads. We'll see what George Concalves has, and it is Mikhail Grenier, who started 3rd, ran 2nd for much of the early portion of the race. Obviously, the car started to go away. He had to come in and make a tire change, and the Anderson Racing car is in the wall with pretty significant damage in turn number 2. The safety team is there. The trucks are blocking our view at this point, but it looked like I saw a steering wheel come out of the cockpit. Here's our look at the replay. Lost it coming out of the exit of turn number 2 and backed it around and made a pretty heavy impact with the left side of the car, flush with the left side going backwards. And we can see Grenier on the replay moving around inside the cockpit.
Throws his hands up right away. Unfortunately for him, he did not back it in. He just kind of slapped it with the left side pod, and he kind of slaps his hands together in disgust and put his hands up on his helmet, and pretty aggravated, pretty animated right away at a frustrating turn of events for the driver of the number 17 machine of Anderson Racing. 53 laps complete with caution on the course. Connor Daly's lead has evaporated. It had been up over 3 seconds and then caught up in some traffic, and it slipped down to under 3 seconds at about 2.5 seconds before this caution flag with the crash in turn number 2. Jake Query.
Just sitting and watching, and of course that caution flag came out. You've got 2 cars in the field, one of them obviously Connor Daly doing very well. Calderon perhaps needed that caution to reassess where that car is. Take me through right now what you think of your 2 cars.
Well, we have 3 cars actually. Rusty Mitchell is running with us also this weekend, and everything looks fine. From Connor looks everything under control for the moment, so we hope we can manage the different. The car is doing good. We have an issue with Rusty right now. Something is broken on the car. I mean, we just see what we can do. And Tatiana, she's doing a good job. It's just the second oval race for her, and we need to keep working with her on the physical condition, see how many laps we can finish the race.
Connor has been so strong. But there has been issue with a couple of the other cars with the tires, blistering on the Goodyear tires. What are you hearing from him about that, and is it of concern?
For the moment, I didn't hear anything with him. Everything went fine for us for the moment. I know there is the issue with tires, and maybe we have with the other car an issue too. I'm not sure to say anything now. I mean, for the moment, everything is fine.
All right, best of luck the rest of the way.
Okay, thank you very much.
Juncos Racing and Ricardo Juncos, guys, and they are based, by the way, out of Boca Raton, Florida, and they made their way up here for the race. And so far, so good, at least from the standpoint of Connor Daly.
Yeah, Jake, we saw one other piece of information that had that listed as a Mitchell Racing entry, but again, on another piece of information we have up here, indeed, the driver out of Midland, Texas, driving with Juncos Racing this weekend. And obviously, the curve is a steep one for Tatiana Calderon because she ran fairly well at ORP, Kevin. I mean, didn't seem to have quite the issues that she has here at Iowa Speedway, but certainly no question with the banking that this is a vastly different race course than what you find in Claremont, Indiana at O'Reilly Raceway Park.
Tatiana Calderon is from Bogota, Colombia. She just turned 17 in March. She was the first female to win the Snap-on Stars of Karting Divisional Championship in 2008. When you speak of Rusty Mitchell, he's from Texas, where high school football is king, and Rusty Mitchell did play high school football. He started every game at quarterback for the Midland High School team, and he also played basketball in high school.
He's been in the cockpit of some form since 1997 and was 6th here a year ago. So one of those drivers with some experience here at Iowa Speedway. In case you missed it, the early portions of our show, we mentioned the Star Mazda series ran here a year ago with the ARCA Remax series. But this year, as part of the Road to Indy series, as we see the 85 machine of Chris Miller rolling down pit road as we speak. Miller with JDC Motorsports, making his 2nd stop of the evening, and finds himself currently 15th, but we will have to think that if he's able to continue on, he'll at least jump up 1 spot to 14th over Grenier, who brought out the caution for the accident. Jay Query?
JDC Motorsports, the team for Chris Miller, and as you mentioned, he just left pit road. He was in here. They had to make a change to a suspension arm. They, of course, had the fortune of the fact that it was under a caution flag, so they kind of took their time doing so, but they got that 85 machine back out. He now runs and will catch up to the back of the field. Chris Miller in car number 85.
Now caution continues to weigh, but again, folks, we're not done here this evening. Kevin, we have what promises to be a pretty spirited Firestone Indy Lights race set for 9:45 Eastern. Avoid the Stork.com 100 here at the Iowa Speedway. Sebastian Saavedra will be your pole sitter. Should be a great race.
It's the final step on the road to Indy. We've seen all three of the ladder steps here today. First with USF 2000 and Star Mazda and Firestone Indy Lights. It's just a great opportunity. I saw a lot of the drivers there on pit lane during IndyCar Series qualifying, getting a chance to maybe meet some of the drivers, but that's secondary, to get a chance to build some relationships with teams and sponsors. And these series also have some television time as well. USF 2000 and Star Mazda are going to be on HD Nets next weekend from the New Jersey Motorsports Park. They have a doubleheader on June 26th and the 27th, and the weekend after that at the Autobahn in Joliet near Chicago on July 31st and August 1st. Star Mazda also will be heading to Canada in the middle of August, and Road America, Elkhart Lake, August 21st. Mosport, a beautiful race facility outside of Toronto in Canada, and they finish up at Road Atlanta on October 1st, team with the American Le Mans Series.
Anders Krohn in the 57 machine, who'd been running in the top 5, decided during this caution to make a pit stop in the 66 machine of Rusty Mitchell. Made his way back out onto pit road. Again, they're a little concerned. There might be some suspension problems with the 66 car of Mitchell, and with some of the wear and tear we've seen with some of the tire wear here, it would only make sense that if Anders Krohn had an opportunity to make a stop and do so without hurting his position, that he would do just that. Now we see the 66 machine come back in and apparently got caught speeding on pit road, because he comes right to the timer, takes his stop and go, and he's back underway again. So the 66 machine of Rusty Mitchell continues to have his struggles here tonight, and will do far worse than his 6th place finish here a year ago. He stopped again at the end of pit road, and once the traffic clears, they will then release him, and he'll be forced to join the field at the rear of the line.
And that's something that a lot of these drivers and I've not had to deal with. Pit stops are not a part of this, and when they're dealing with mostly road and street courses, they're not going to have as much tire wear. So this is new, and it's also part of the experience. It's difficult to be able to go. I'm not sure what their speed limit is. 40 miles an hour. We're usually talking 60 miles an hour with the Eyes on IndyCar Series. Presumably it's slower, more in the 40, maybe 35 mile an hour range. But that's difficult to do when you've been going 140 or so, to be able to slow it down.
Well, yet another car makes its way onto pit road, and they are working toward the rear of the car. And I don't know, it could be a suspension problem. The 85 machine, that is, of course, Chris Miller. That's his 3rd trip to pit road, Jake Query.
Yeah, and they're still looking at that suspension. They tried to change it earlier, thought they had it fixed, but when he went back out and tried to get on his horse a little bit to catch back up to the back, realized they still had to take another look at that suspension. Incidentally, when you're on pit road, the speed limit here is 60 kilometers an hour. That comes out, for those of you like me who are mathematics, I had to ask, 37.5 miles an hour.
So, Kevin, you were right in the range of 40 miles per hour. Now, on the restart, Connor Daly will be your leader.
We're set to go green next time by, I believe.
62 laps complete here at Iowa Speedway. Pretty clean race all the way. USF 2000 had a couple of cautions early on, one in which a couple of contenders were knocked out early on. One of them had the nose cone of the car knocked off and flew up into the air and came right back down the racetrack. And then after that, they settled into a pretty nice race pace. So Connor Daly, does anyone have anything for him, or does he have the field covered? There's a couple of lap cars between he and the 2nd place machine. John Thomas on the throttle at the exit at turn number 4.
Good jump. He's got that cushion as well. It's going to be a car of position, so that's going to allow to get that big cushion out as we watch Tatiana Calderon get passed on the outside and the inside as everyone rockets past her as they head down to turn number 3, getting set to complete lap number 64. Hunter-Reay is comfortably in front now. The other quicker cars, Gonzalez and Horta were not able to get past
Laura's full throttle, no doubt about that, and is running well in front of the second place car, Calvins, who's running well in front of the third place car, unfortunately, as they make their way to the exit of turn number 4.
Hunter-Reay will cross the line, and let's see the third in line. So Gonzalez has one more lap car to get past, and that's the number 19 car, and he's running in the 7th position, one lap down. So Laura is one lap down, hoping to get that lead lap back. Calvez is within a couple of car lengths and should be able to get him on this lap. So Calvez is within a car length and is 1.6 seconds behind Hunter-Reay. So he'll want to dispatch that lap car as quickly as possible. Hunter-Reay has checked out more so than he was earlier in the race.
Yeah, within 3 laps, as he pulls out now within about a 2-second lead as he crosses the start-finish line. It is. It's a little over 2 seconds now for Hunter-Reay as he already exits turn number 2 and they start to bunch up a little bit from the last car to the midway point of the back straightaway.
Calvez is still going to have to deal with Joao Victor Horto because he is leading by just a couple of tenths of a second on him. So the battle for second is going to be the best one that we're seeing right now. It's about a car length and a half, maybe 2 car lengths.
They'll get the lap car this time, or at least it looks like they will, as they get a nice run at the exit of turn number 2. They'll set up to go 3 wide into turn number 3. Calvez and Horto is able to clear him, and Di Filippi is right there with them. They go nose to tail at the exit of turn number 4. Di Filippi with a nice run at the exit of turn number 4. He'll go to the high side and 1.
Can't go around the high side. He looked low, then he came position will maintain the same. Daly is now up by more than 3 seconds onto Calvez, then a half a second back to Horto, and then a tenth of a second to Hunter-Reay running in the 4th position. Hunter-Reay is just 17 years old, born on Christmas in San Clemente, California. He is 4th in the championship this season.
Anders Krohn, after he came to pit road, was able to get a spot back. He's moved back up into the top 5. He's looking to move up a little bit. He wants to get up into that battle for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th position. He starts to pull in and reel those guys in a little bit at the exit of turn 4.
Lap number 72, Hunter-Reay's lead has expanded to 3.2 seconds. Calvez is a half a second in front of Horto, then now a half a second also in front of Di Filippi. Anders Krohn is running in 5th. He's 5.7 seconds off the lead, about a second and a half behind Di Filippi running in the 4th position. And David Estella is back on pit lane. Is that right? Yeah,
Yep, the red-white
down.
machine of David Estella. It's been a struggle for him tonight. David Estella finished 3rd here a year ago. AIM Autosport, GP Global Precast among the sponsorship. He, of course, from Ontario, Canada. Number 16. They're looking around. David Estella continues to sit on pit road.
By the way, we mentioned the events coming up on HDNet. You can check MazdaRacing.tv for information and specific details of times and all of this. There are several races on the package. Rick Benjamin is the anchor for those events. Open wheel broadcasting. He'll be anchoring that event coming up next weekend from Jersey Motorsports Park.
StarMazda.com too will tell you anything and everything you need to know about the series and the drivers. Big miles on all of the drivers.
Look forward to next season when USF 2000 and Star Mazda, if it goes as planned, competes in tandem with the Indy Racing League and the IndyCar Series a little bit more. These cars, especially on ovals, I don't know that they'll do any more than the 2 ovals that they're doing this year, but they're fun to watch, and from a distance, the cars are going to notice that much between these cars and Firestone Indy Lights. These are open wheel cars. They a little ways away.
clouds have been solid as well. And that's even when we've had to dodge some cold weather and some inclement weather from time to time. So we certainly appreciate the overwhelming support and reception we receive from the great folks here at Iowa. Connor Daly, by the way, just ran his fastest lap of the race. Got the pit road to get clear.
A long night just got a lot longer for David Estella. You feel for him as he sits in his machine. Global Precast, the sponsor on the side pod. As he sits, the car is elevated. The right rear tire is off. The problem is they're having to tinker right now. It's not actually a tire issue, it appears, but the suspension arm. But right now, while they're trying to get something tight on the suspension arm in the right rear, as they're doing so, the actual screw has become threaded. So he is sitting. Most of the team has actually left. They're just working on the right rear. The time is getting away from them. Just 20 laps left as David Estella sits patiently away.
While cars have had issues with varying degrees, a lot of them related to suspension and a lot of them related to tire wear. Kevin, it seems as though the longer Connor Daly runs, the better his car seems to get.
He could deal with the tire wear issues when the car is handling in that type of fashion. Connor Daly hasn't had any kind of problems. There have been no hiccups in his race. He's less than 20 laps away from his 4th consecutive win in Star Mazda. We talked about it at O'Reilly Raceway Park. Young man has a very bright future. He's very open that his ultimate goal is to drive in Formula 1. He says he also does have an eye on the IndyCar series, especially the Indianapolis 500. He's not sure if that may be part of the process, but he also understands history would say that if you want to compete in Formula 1, you're going to have to get over to Europe sooner rather than later. So he's thinking about GP3 as a possibility next year. He's also interested in Firestone, hoping to be in at least a race or two for life before this season is over.
I'm just not overly convinced that Formula 1 teams any longer look at American-born drivers as a viable option. I mean, if you stop and think about it, Scott Speed was supposed to be the quote-unquote blueprint to get an American driver to Formula 1. They set up a plan to make that happen, and boy, that whole thing came unraveled in a hurry. And the next thing you know, he's running stock cars on the dirt back in the United States, and he's worked his way back up, you know, through the Nationwide Series and the Truck Series and the Cup Series. But you know, if you have a plan in place, you might as well take a shot at it if that's your dream. But it's also good to have, I don't want to call it a backup plan, but an alternative. And it appears as though that the Firestone Indy Lights and the IndyCar Series is that alternate plan for Connor Daly.
And there are an awful lot of drivers that have made great careers in the States that it may have been their dream at some point to be in Formula 1, decided, you know what, I'd rather run up front over here than go over there and run in the back of the pack. So keep your options open and see what the best opportunity is. Back to pit road, Jake Curry.
The same problem, at least his car is, I should say, for JDC Motorsports, and he's had all this with the fact that he has a loose connection to the rear suspension arm on his right rear side. They actually have been working on that to get it tightened. What happens is when it actually fastens in towards the back of the car, they had to take the rear cowling off to tighten it again. Now they have to put the tire back on in doing so, but they've had problems with that suspension all night. I wonder somewhat if this isn't also because of the fact, guys, and this is merely conjecture, but a lot of the drivers in the IndyCar Series were talking about the increased bumps in turn 1 and turn 2 at this track, and on some of these smaller cars, albeit they're a good size and hefty race car, you wonder if maybe that isn't part of the issue why we're seeing some of the suspension problems that we've seen with Chris Miller and a couple of the other teams. But either way, he's back out now onto the racetrack.
Good point. From laps 77 to 83, Connor Daly drove the 5 fastest laps of the race. So continues to improve. That is a frightening thought in itself. Yeah, well, what Jake's referring to is that we've heard a lot of the drivers in the lights in the IndyCar Series after qualifying make reference to how bumpy the surface is, especially in the area around the tunnel, which is right at the halfway point between turn 1 and 2. Some say they feel bumps all the way around it. However, as is often the case, you talk to the pool center, they rarely mention it. I mean, some even go so far as to say, hey, I think the track might be in better shape than it used to be now. Our driver analyst, Davey Hamilton, for the IndyCar Series, says his experience with the two-seater showed that 1 and 2 was very, very rough, but he says once you get from 3 through 4 and down the front straightaway, it's as smooth as glass. And so the racetrack offers 2 vastly different challenges in terms of how you set the car up to compensate for each end.
Inside the final 10 laps now, and Gonçalves has say that. Now he just ran another quick lap. Fastest of the race, 22.095 seconds is what we're looking at for Conor Daly. Calvez, by the way, is not far off that on his last lap. It was 22.129.
It's about a half a straightaway lead. I think we can say that comfortably as we see the 9 machine go by. Porto continues to run in third, but he's 5 seconds back. So any chance at all for anybody to catch Conor Daly is firmly in the hands of the number 9 machine of Calvez, barring some sort of unforeseen incident. De Filippi is 4th, and Crone is 5th. Andrews is 6th. Then Lara, Vautier, Roberts, and Lanera is your top 10. They're on the lead lap through 6th place. The lap through 5th place at ORP the last time we were all together.
Calvez was also 2nd at St. Petersburg, so he's trying to match that. Joao Victor Horto, the 20-year-old Brazilian, is running in 3rd. He has, in one of the events earlier this season, finished 2nd and finished 3rd on the Riley Raceway Park. He's looking at a good finish. And Conor De Filippi, in his first season, is 4th in the championship. His best finish so far this year is 4th. He is trying to match that again here so far tonight. 4 laps to go for Conor Daly.
Ranch 100, the Star Mazda Series. Putting on a good show here at Iowa Speedway, running with the USF 2000, the Firestone Indy Lights, and the IZOD IndyCar Series as the laps continue to click away. And the dominance of Conor Daly has 171 points to this point. Grenier with 142 points, so he will take a huge point hit as he's currently shown in 17th. Anders Krone is in 3rd place with 139 points. Krone will pick up some points in the battle for 2nd place as he's currently running 5th. Porto leads the Rookie of the Year standings. He has 128 points. He currently runs 3rd. And Vautier has 124 points. He currently is in the 8th position. So those guys in 3rd, 4th, and 5th in the points, Kevin, are going to make up some ground on Grenier.
Conor Daly also won the prestigious Walter Hayes Trophy at Silverstone in 2008. He won in New Jersey last year from the pole. He takes the white flag. 1 more lap to go here at Iowa Speedway. And Conor Daly is on his way to his 4th consecutive win. The Star Mazda Championship presented by Goodyear.
And he looks to make it 2 for 2 on ovals. Noblesville, Indiana. Conor Daly will come off of turn number 4 for the final time. Twin checkers are out, and Conor Daly will win here at Iowa Speedway in dominating fashion, Jake Query.
Ricardo Juncos, congratulations as he takes the congratulations from the team. He wants to talk everybody through a big celebration here for Juncos Racing, and he got the hugs and the high fives. Of course, this is one of just 3 cars in. Conor Daly becomes just the 4th driver in the modern era of the Star Mazda Series to win 4 straight races, and Ricardo wants to talk him through right now to make sure that he gets his way in to Victory Circle. That's where we'll catch up with Conor Daly. We'll check back here in just a second with Ricardo Juncos as the celebration is on for Conor Daly.
You know, in that USF 2000 race, Kevin, we talked to Dan Anderson, the CEO of the USF 2000 Series, and of course, one of the co-owners of Anderson Racing, building several cars here in this event tonight, also cars in the Firestone Indy Lights Series, and we asked him what the mindset is for people like Calvez and Horto and De Filippi when you face a driver like Conor Daly who is so clearly dominant. He said, you know, you never know what can happen, and the only thing you get on the radio and tell those guys running in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th is, hey, keep plugging because something may happen. He could break, the car could go away, whatever the case may be, but just get laps, hit your marks, and do what you're supposed to do.
Jordan Calvez did finish within a second, 1.003 seconds. It was not that close. Conor Daly dominated. He led from the opening lap after starting on the pole, so a wire-to-wire win for Conor Daly as he reaches victory lane. The steering wheel is out of the car, and he will be climbing from the in-deck College Network machine with Juncos Racing after celebrating his 4th consecutive win in the Star Mazda Championship in just a moment. Daly wins, Calvez finishes 2nd, Joao Victor Horto in 3rd, Conor De Filippi finishes 4th, Anders Krone in 5th. Good run for Nick Andrews of Anderson Racing. He comes home in 6th. 7th place goes to Kyle Lara, Tristan Vautier in 8th, Ninth place goes to J.W. Roberts, making his season debut. Rusty Mitchell comes home in 10th. 11th position goes to Carlos Linares. 12th place, Tatiana Calderon. Chris Miller in 13th. David Estella 14th. Michael Grenier in 15th. 6 cars stayed on the lead lap. Let's head down towards victory lane now and check in with Jake Query with our winner.
Connor Daly has gotten out of the race car, and as we mentioned, the 4th driver in Star Mazda Series history in the modern era to win 4 straight races. You got to quit making this look so easy.
Oh man, it was really tough. I mean, the track was very different compared to any session we'd done. I had several moments where the car was pretty much backwards on me, but somehow I kept it under me, and just worked on building a gap and getting through traffic. It was tough to get through traffic. Towards the end especially, I knew second place was right. You know, I could see he was almost gaining on me, if anything, so I just worked on doing really consistent laps. And the Juncos Racing team did a fantastic job this whole weekend. We worked really hard, and my teammate had to do an engine change just before the race, and they got that done extremely well. So I'm so thankful to be, with them, and it was really great.
You know, the one thing I've noticed about you at O'Reilly Raceway Park in Claremont, Indiana, and watching you here at Iowa Speedway, is you really seem to separate yourselves, not only at the start of the race, but on restarts as well. That seems like an elementary thing, but something that is obviously a major advantage to have this early in your career. Where have you learned that, or have you cognizantly worked on that?
Well, I mean, it's a big part of the race. I mean, at the start especially, you want to get ahead and get out of the trouble, get out of where, all the crashes happen, and that's what I mainly work on. I mean, over my career of racing so far, I've worked a lot on opening laps and starts and restarts, and it really shows, and I'm really confident in my ability to restart, and it's also easier to be at the front to do that as well.
There was some tire attrition behind you with other cars in this race. Was that a concern of yours as the race went on?
Well, I knew the other cars were going to be fast. I didn't expect to pull away as much as I did, and even towards the end, they tightened up the pace a little bit, so it wasn't as easy as RP, but it's never easy. I mean, that was really physical, and I was dizzy even when I got out, so that was different for me, but boy, I enjoyed it. I love being here as a part of the road to Indy, and having the Eyes Out IndyCar series here is just huge. I mean, to do that in front of them really means a lot.
All right, Connor Daly, the pride of one NI in Noblesville, Indiana, gets a win here, and another NI in Newton, Iowa. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
That's Connor Daly, the winner here at the Iowa Speedway.